Hi everyone, thanks for joining me, Allison, for Where I'm From 121 with Krista. This will be the last poem of 2023. So I hope everyone enjoys the end of their year. What have you been reading? I've been reading Class by Stephanie Land, which is a follow-up to her book Made, which was also a Netflix series. And I thought it was really compelling and emotional read. So I highly suggest it. She talks a lot about, obviously, class, not just university, but also socioeconomic class and what it's like to be, like in Maid, where it's like what it's like to be a single mother, trying to figure out, a poor single mother, trying to figure out a way forward. She goes and gets her college degree in this book and is straddled with student loan debt and just kind of this impossible situation that the working poor in this country are in. So I just thought it was a great read, and has a wonderful end of the year. However they celebrate, if it's laying in bed, that sounds good. Krista, I'm approving you. And there you are.
Hi.
Hey,
How are you?
I, I'm good. I like the Christmas tree. Very
I,
festive.
I know. I thought I'd have it in the background as a good backdrop.
I always have this bed because this is the place where I have reception
Oh,
and a door I can close.
that's good.
So, yeah, that's my background. Well, thanks to Jess for introducing us
Yeah,
because I'm sure she'll watch this. So I
yeah.
wanted to say
She
thank
said
you,
she was gonna look
yeah,
out for it.
to Jess. And I wanted to say I loved your episode with her. So
Oh,
that was how I first became introduced to you. And
thank you.
thank you for joining me. Is there anything I see a bunch of people are joining? Lovely. Jess's followers and friends. I mean, not Jess, Krista, sorry. It's 9 a.m. for me.
Don't worry, it's okay. It's an early start. Different sides
So,
of the world. It was interesting to think that this.
oh no, it just said you were unable to join, which is what it does when it's about to be strange. So, can anyone hear me, or is it not working anymore? Because Krista's frozen for me. Is Krista frozen for everyone? All right. Here it goes again. See if it works.
I'm back. I'm not sure what happened there.
It said you already was squashing sarcoma, wasn't able to join. I was like, oh no. This is what happens when it starts going wacky. It's
It's
just like,
actually my first
is it
time doing the Instagram Live.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Obviously, it's
not
not
very
my
tech
first.
savvy. So, yeah, it's like you've done hundreds now, right? So you should be
Yeah,
a pro.
I am, which means you're just used to it not working
Yeah.
properly. Being a pro just means, oh, it's doing that thing it does. So,
Okay.
and not
So it's
feeling
not
like
just
it's
me.
your user fault. It's not user error. It's just
Okay.
Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah. So don't worry. If for some reason we cut off, we'll just start up again. Like
Okay.
it's fine. It's helped me a lot with my recovering perfectionism. I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
it's good. Just rejoin. Yeah.
like it'll work out in the end. So is there anything that you'd like to share before you read your poem or anything at all, or just go for it?
No, I really liked, yeah, doing this and writing the poem and like sort of going back into family history and learning about all the old stories, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But it was a really nice thing to do this time of year to
Yeah.
reflect and think about all this sort of history that we have in the family. It was good. It was interesting.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think most people enjoy it who join me. I don't know about all the other people, but
Definitely. The audience as well. No, definitely. I was watching back some of the older videos that you'd done. And you've done quite a lot now.
yeah, this is year
Yeah, and there's some
121.
really good
Yeah,
ones. But yeah,
it's kind of staggering actually, because I just started on a whim.
yeah,
Like, oh, it'd be fun to hear people's poems, and it
yeah,
is. It still is. So,
yeah. Amazing.
yeah, it is kind of amazing. I love it when things in life just come together. It's a good
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, well, go for it. I'm excited.
okay. Where I'm from. I am from Clifford, the big red van. I'm from St. Hubert and Tim Hortons. I'm from the top tower of our childhood adventures, well-worn, protective, the neighborhood meeting place for imaginations and ghost stories. I am from peeling maple sycamore trees, the puzzle pieces of bark pulled lovingly away from branches destined for forts. I'm from the three cheek kisses greeting and thick spectacles on wide brown noses, from Gerard Joseph Hormidas Dubois and Ashok Bose. I'm from multi-generational immigrant families and outrageous rumors whispered of ancestors past. From You Can Write Your Own Ticket and 15-2, 15-4, the rest don't score. I'm from prayers of peace offered in pinery sand dunes and big questions pondered under the light of 100 shooting stars. Mother Nature was our deity and the fire circle was our church. I am from the Great Lakes, the Mitten State, the Irish Boys, the native Canadian princess, the unknown heir to the British throne, and the busy Bengali streets of Calcutta. I'm from Shanghainese xiaolongbao and American deep-fried turkey. From my Indian grandfather who left his home to get a PhD in physics in Germany and later sat on the board to select physics Nobel Prize winners in Canada. From my Swiss grandmother who was disowned by her father for loving a black man, who worked as a nurse before moving to Quebec. I am the collection of my papa's vintage model cars and the newspaper clippings of his heroic acts as the firefighter chief in Montreal. I am the goodness and the golden safety of my grandma's buns, baked with love and offered to all grandchildren and guests alike with doting affections. A corroboration of cultures cultivated an olive-skinned woman of the world with frostbitten feet and all the recipes of love passed on by cursive, on lined paper, typewritten on note cards, reshared by virtual instant messages, and memorized as sacred, filling a multi-culti cookbook of lives hard worked and well spent.
Thank you. It was beautiful and so celebratory. A lot of them were kind of sad.
It was really nice thing to look back on. It was like, yeah.
So that was really felt like such a happy. I mean, you had moments, but really this like very look, you're getting applause. Chat. That was really beautiful, and I figured you were from Quebec from the names, but that's where you're from in Canada.
That's
correct.
Where my family from. Yeah, from Montreal.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I think I'm placing you correctly. So, what was it like reading this? I mean, writing it and looking at the prompts.
It was really nice. I think because I have a really diverse background.
Yeah.
So I was focusing on my grandparents and where each of them sort of came from, and they're all from really different parts of the world. And like my mum's parents grew up in Canada, but my dad's parents didn't. They immigrated from India and Switzerland. And then if you go back one generation on my mum's side, then they all started to come over from Ireland or England. And so all these different countries, I don't know, it's really nice to have all these sort of different cultures that mold you. Even growing up knowing about all these different places, I think it made me want to travel and like see more of the world. And looking back on it, it makes me want to like delve more into the history of it all and work out where people were from and go back and back. I was doing a lot of like fact checking when I was writing it, and like going to my aunties, my grandma, my mom and dad, asking like, okay, so what was the story with this? What was the story with that? Because there was all these like crazy stories that were being told when we were growing up, and quite a lot of them, frankly, were not true at all. But it was funny to look back and think like, why are we told that? Why was that the story? So it was good.
Well, I love that. I mean, I love that you also have a family where you can ask things like that and they'll just answer you, because, you know, some people carry stories with them and can't actually ask, hey, is this true? Did this happen? What happened? So that says a lot about your family, that you're able to just check in and ask, and they'll give you a straight answer. So that's lovely.
Yeah, they're not shy of telling the stories. So.
Someone asked in the chat if you speak French. I assume you do if you're from Montreal.
No, I actually don't. So even though my entire family, like, is my parents and my grandparents all lived in Quebec and Montreal, and I just got moved around a lot as a kid,
It's okay.
between England and America, and then my parents eventually moved to Asia for quite a long time. So um, I speak more Mandarin than I do French,
Oh,
which is
really?
great. I wish I spoke French. We always say to my parents, like, you should have spoken French to us because they both speak
Mhm.
fluent French, of course, and did French in school. But when I was in school, I only ever went to school at English speaking schools. So I
Oh, so
only speak English
interesting.
fluently.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Because from what I hear, they'd like you to speak
It,
French when you're in Quebec.
yeah. So I didn't ever do, so like I didn't do early education in Canada
Mhm.
because we were moving around. I did my university degree in Canada.
Mm,
Um, but by then, I mean, I
right.
did it in Ontario, so it's just in
Right.
English.
Right. And so did you live in Michigan? Because I heard the stayed in
Yeah,
there. Hmm.
lived in Michigan for a good while, and that was really nice. My parents moved over to America because my dad got a job there as an engineer,
Hmm.
so they came over sort of as expats to the US, and so we lived there for quite a while. Pardon me. And Michigan is lovely.
It's
It's like
beautiful.
it's a really wholesome like
Yeah.
state. We lived in Ann Arbor,
Yeah.
which is where
Oh,
U
yeah.
of M is, and
Hmm.
Ann Arbor's like its own little bubble. It's really
Yeah.
nice.
That's what I've heard. I have not been there. I've only been on the lake, which is gorgeous.
It's
So
and the lakes are like oceans.
I
They're
know
amazing.
it's hard to explain to people that they're really that vast, but they are. They're truly great. Um,
Yeah.
um, so there was so much in your poem. It's hard for me to pull out Tim Hortons, obviously. That's very
Tim
Canadian.
Hortons. Yeah.
So how did you end up in England? That's not in your
Oh, okay.
poem, but I'm still just
So
curious because it
so
seems like you
I
had a lot of
lived in England
choices.
as a child. We came
Hmm.
over when I was I think 4 or 5 for a few years to live in Oxfordshire, and also because of my dad's job. And then we'd moved back to North America, and then my parents moved to Asia and were working in Shanghai and then in Singapore. And I was in university in Singapore. And then I met my now husband, Oliver, in a bar in Shanghai. And I knew I wanted to go back to school because I was working as a teacher in Asia. And I figured if I came to England, I could go back to school and also pursue this romance with Oliver. And then we ended up getting married, and I've been here now for like 7 or 8 years. So it now just feels like home to me because I've lived here a long time, almost as long as like I think longer than most other places that I've ever
I was
lived.
going to
So
ask, is that the longest you've lived somewhere?
yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like it might. I think I might have lived in Michigan longer, but only just. And now it's starting to feel more like home here. Yeah,
Mm. That's a wonderful feeling.
yeah, it
I
is.
when you're like, oh, I found it.
Yeah, and I like all the people and I like the culture a lot. It's really, yeah, it's a really nice place to live. I'm now living in
Hmm.
Surrey, and we just moved down to a little village called Claygate, and it's so peaceful and yeah, just really nice vibes.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah,
That's such a happy ending
yeah.
too. So do your parents still move around or are they settled?
They're they travel more than anyone I know. They live currently in Singapore, but they have a house in Spain, and my two brothers are now living in Los Angeles. And so my parents will
Oh,
go and visit them.
both
They'll go
of
visit
them.
family in
Okay.
Canada. They'll go. They're just jet setters. They're really cool.
It's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, that's incredible to still be doing it. I
Mm.
don't know. I love traveling, moving around, and now I'm just like I've become
Yeah,
much more of
I
a
love
homebody.
it. Yeah. After a couple of trips, I'm knackered. I need a break.
Yes, especially if you feel unwell, which after my last trip I did get sick, and then I
Oh,
was
where
like,
did
oh, I
you
never
go?
want to leave. We went to New York and
Oh,
Washington, D.C. Yeah, it
cool.
was
And you got
very.
sick in New York?
I didn't. I got sick from my child who got
Oh,
sick somewhere.
oh,
And yeah, I just couldn't shake it. So that was not, I
yeah.
mean, I know that you have a much larger health concern than a virus and a bacterial
No,
infection, but
viruses are
I,
what get you.
I just, the feeling is not
No,
good. Like it's
it's
just,
not.
it gives me, and I have a lot of friends because I'm almost 50 and I'm a woman. So I have a lot of friends with chronic illness. Like to me, it seems like a staggering amount, and they're almost all women. They're all women, I think.
Yeah.
And, they talk a lot with me about that feeling you get when you can't get well. And
Yeah.
I was like feeling that. I mean, I knew it would pass, but that just feeling of like, ugh, what's the
You get
point of it
stuck in
all?
that.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Especially if you have young, I mean, I'm not sure how old your children are, but I've got a lot of
they're
friends now who've got
teens. They're teens. So
younger children. And
I have ability to rest and like
oh
take care of
my God,
myself.
when they're in nursery and preschool and
Yeah.
they bring home a bug every week.
Yep, they do.
And yeah.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, it's I know you're a doctor, so I just I I want someone to help all the ladies I know who are chronically ill. It's like
Oh,
it feels really like, like symbolic of the power dynamic in our world, that I know all these women who can't find a way to care for themselves, even though they're trying
it's
desperately.
so hard. I think I'm obviously a doctor and like I'm a part-time doctor, but I'm a full-time patient.
Yep.
So I know this very well. I think I'm lucky that I'm in a position where I'm because I'm a doctor, I can advocate for myself really well. And I think that goes such a long way when you get stuck in that place where you feel like you can't get well and it's just things are building up and you can't get out of that place. I think it's really important to be able to advocate for yourself and seek help and know how to access like medical advice or medicine or whatever you need because I think that is a gift to be able to go out and seek what you need.
I agree. And believing yourself.
Yeah,
I've
and
noticed that's
trusting your gut when something doesn't feel right,
yeah.
being able to advocate, to go and seek help, to go and get a second
Yeah.
opinion. I think that's really, really important for people to listen to their bodies, especially women.
Yeah.
Because I think, historically women were,
Yeah.
oh, it's hysteria, it's
Yeah.
just that.
Yeah.
And it's just important to know what's right for you and what's not wrong for you. Because no matter how many doctors you see, you will always be the expert on you. Yeah.
I agree. That's what I actually love about this poem. To bring it back to the poem,
Yeah.
it's sort of like an exercise, and I think it really helped me. I've done it a few times. I'm trying to do, or I've done it twice. I'm going to try to do it every year on my birthday,
Yeah.
which is next month, so I should get cracking. But I think for me, it was really helpful in just kind of seeing the patterns and the things that have
Mm.
informed. Because I don't find, I mean, I don't talk about my childhood that much. Do you, like socially or with people,
I think I do a little bit, not as much as I would have liked, and I wish I knew more about sort of my grandparents and their histories. So in doing this poem, it made me start asking a lot of questions. And you're right, I'm lucky I have the people in my life that I can go to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been a really beautiful experience. And last year, my husband got me for Christmas one of those like 23andMe
Yeah.
ancestry things where
Yeah.
you send it off. And I
Yeah.
know those things can sometimes be problematic because people can find out about
I
health
know. I know.
on that
I did
they
one
weren't.
too because I had the
Yeah,
same
it can be,
curiosity.
there's pros and cons, I
Yeah.
think. But
Yeah.
for me, I was really excited to learn about ancestry and learning about like sort of the different places that I
Mm-hmm.
come from. And I really value being someone that comes from many
Mm-hmm.
places, both like ancestrally, but also in my own life. Like if you ask me where's home, it's really hard for
Right.
me to answer because
Yeah.
I've
How do
lived
you answer?
so many places. I usually just say I'm Canadian
Uh-huh.
because all my family is Canadian and that's
Mm-hmm.
like the culture that I believe most represents me. But I've lived in so many places and so many places have been home for a while. I sometimes feel envious of people that have like a home that they grew up in, that their
Mm-hmm.
parents still live in, that they
Yeah.
can like a town that they go back to every year for their holiday. I don't really have that, but it is amazing to have memories and cultural experiences from different places is very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes, neither one of us have the hallmark experience of like
No,
going to your small town or your big town, but yeah, no, I don't I don't have that either. I do know people who have it though, and it has its own beauties and challenges, I think, like anything.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But well, anything else that you want to talk about or I feel like there's so much and my brain is like I don't I don't know which thing to ask. Or
Wait,
anyone in the chat if you want to ask Krista anything.
yeah, does
Just
anyone have a question?
yeah, about the poem or anything else. What are you gonna do for the holidays, Krista?
I am working on
Are you
Christmas and I'm
really?
volunteering in the hospital in the emergency. So I hope no one gets sick, but if you do, I'll see you there.
I feel like Christmas is you get a lot of interesting people coming into the
I was
emergency.
working in A&E last week and I had so many people come in with head injuries from hanging Christmas lights. It was like one after the other, after the other, after the other. So everyone be careful. Be
So
careful
they
putting up
dropped
your
something on
Christmas
their head?
lights. Yeah, falling
Did you see?
off counters, falling off ladders, slipping off
Right,
tables.
right. I am one of those people who loves Christmas lights, but that is a thing I choose not because there are things I just can't get to
Yeah.
for my own sanity around the holidays. Holiday cards I've dropped, holiday lights. So I appreciate, but that's validating. I don't want to do it because I don't want to
You
get a
don't
head
need to.
injury.
It's
Yeah.
dangerous.
And did you
No
see
need.
what's your favorite thing from Tim Hortons, Krista?
I know exactly what it is. Okay, Tim Hortons is a Canadian like
Yes.
coffee chain, but they make amazing like sweet treats and they've got really good coffee. My grandfather, my papa, and was like obsessed with Tim Hortons, and he used to, after he worked as a firefighter, he was working as like a lorry driver, and he used to have these huge mugs of Tim Hortons. But they make these amazing bagels, which are kind of like donuts. They have Timbits, which are like mini donut holes,
Yep.
but they're bagel. They used to have this like maple syrup, cinnamon, brown sugar bagel. I don't know if they still have it, but it was good. It was the
It
stuff.
sounds like not a real bagel. Of course, for me, it sounds like that's a fake bagel. But
It was
um,
it was a fake bagel.
yeah,
It was not a bagel, but it was so good.
yeah, it sounds like a sweet sort of treat,
Yeah.
but good. So that's her favorite thing from Tim Hortons. Well, I just want to say thank you, Krista. This was lovely. And
Yeah, it was
this is
really
our last
nice.
one of 2023, so this is a really nice way to wrap up. And thank you for taking the time, and it was lovely to meet you.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and
Look
thanks to
forward to
everyone
hearing
who joined us.
next poems of
Oh,
2024.
thank you. I have many people I'm very excited about. I'm a fortunate person that I get to talk to so
Yes.
many fascinating people. So thank you so much, Krista.
Take care. Happy
Thank
holidays.
you, you too. Bye.